Hey there, folks. My name's Lee. I'm a licensed counselor and have been doing couples counseling for a number of years now. I've lost track now, but it's been a while. And after doing it for so long, I've come to realize that a ton of people need it. So if you're having a hard time in your relationship, you're definitely not alone. It's just not one of those things that we typically talk about at dinner parties or when we're hanging out with friends. So just know it's a really common issue out there. Second, after doing it for so long, I found that most relationships suffer from these same four issues. Now, sometimes it's just one of those issues, but honestly, a lot of times it's some combination of all four, which is exactly why couples have a hard time figuring out their own issues. You see, if it was just one thing, it might be easier to handle it on your own. But when there are multiple issues going on at once, it usually helps a lot to have a professional help you navigate all the different layers that muck up your relationship. So, I wanted to shoot a quick video here to unpack and explain these common issues to help you understand what might be making your relationship a lot harder than it needs to be. Now, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of these issues, but then in later videos, I'll go a little bit more in depth on each of them. It's just for the sake of time and to keep these videos not so super long, I'm going to just introduce them and explain them really quick. So, first common reason couples need therapy is communication and conflict, or specifically how they communicate with one another during conflict. Now, you might have guessed that one. It's pretty obvious and common. Couples that have a hard time doing conflict have no channel or mechanism to deal with any other issue. So eventually, all issues in a relationship will lead back to how well a couple can communicate and resolve their conflicts. Really important factor in the health of your relationship, so it's number one reason why couples seek out therapy. Okay, common reason number two is going to be misaligned priorities and values. Issues like money, sex, parenting, jobs and roles, in-laws, just a whole myriad of issues that drive how couples prioritize things and make decisions. You see, the problem is despite how important these issues are, couples rarely spend intentional time to sit down and really hash things out so that they can get on the same page. I mean, think about it like two people pulling a wagon or something really heavy. When most couples get married, they don't really stop to think about the vision that they have or the direction on a lot of important issues. They just start pulling. Sometimes they don't even know what they're pulling toward or what they really want for themselves. Sometimes they just assume that they're going in the same direction. But what happens most of the time is two people pulling really hard, but not quite in the same direction. Now, at first, it might not seem like a big deal, might not even be noticeable, right? But go months, years, miles down the road, and being misaligned on important issues that drive decision making, how you spend resources like time, money, and effort, all these issues start to wear down a relationship and degrade the trust and respect a couple has for one another. Essentially, misalignments burn up all the fuel a couple has to make it for the long haul. Plus, it builds up tons of conflict and hurts the confidence a couple has in their relationship because they're thinking that their counterpart is likely to keep making decisions on things like money and boundaries with in-laws that go against their wants and wishes. Okay, let's move on to reason number three, which is unresolved hurts. As I just mentioned in the last reason on misalignments, conflicts that build up and go unresolved slowly destroy the trust in a relationship. When you don't resolve a hurt, it doesn't just go away. A lot of couples will avoid the conflict or will make attempts to resolve the conflict but end up failing by way of a stalemate or when either or both people end up feeling even more hurt. But whenever hurts go unresolved, it leaves a residue or what I call a narrative. These beliefs a couple has about one another that carry resentment and a loss of trust and respect for one another. Beliefs like, my spouse will lie to me to suit their own needs, or my spouse doesn't value me or think that I'm important or valuable enough. These unresolved hurts and narratives act like a cancer that can silently grow in a relationship. And honestly, a lot of times, by the time couples come into counseling to see me, the cancer is already pretty well advanced. So if you're watching this, you definitely want to make sure that you put a check on these unresolved hurts and issues before they become life-threatening for your marriage. And the last reason that couples need therapy is a little bit of a tougher pill to swallow, which is why I saved it for last. This last cause is lack of personal maturity and just old baggage. That means each person in a relationship brings into the relationship old hurts and issues from their past. That might be past relationships or issues with their family growing up. It also means that if either person comes into the relationship underdeveloped in any areas like their own sense of security or self-worth or healthy boundaries, the ability to manage their emotions well, all the personal muscles and skills necessary for being a mature and healthy adult might be lacking when they enter into the relationship. So One thing that often happens with couples is that their personal lack of maturity in these areas or history of baggage, which may have gone unnoticed or a non-issue when they were single, just might be getting more exposed for the first time since conflicts in a relationship have a way of revealing these areas of weakness. Okay, that's a super fast rundown on some of the main issues that I'll come across in couples therapy. As I said at the beginning of this video, it's usually a combination of all these issues. It's really just a matter of prioritizing and weighing which one is affecting the relationship and which one needs the most attention. Okay, hope that helps bring some clarity and awareness for you. Definitely reach out to us if you'd like some coaching or counseling. You can also check out our online resource too, like my Rules of Engagement course that helps couples with conflict. Be sure to check out some of my other videos that go a little bit more in depth on these 4 different reasons that couples typically seek out therapy. Thanks for listening.